Hello, welcome to Hannah's Knit Cottage. My name is Hannah, and this is the podcast where I talk about all of my crafting adventures. That includes knitting, crochet, quilting, and cross stitch. Today it is all knitting. So you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram. I'm Hannah's Knit Cottage on Instagram, and I'm Hannah072 on Ravelry. And if you have trouble finding those, they're both linked down below. So I tried to be back a month later, and we're here about a month later. I don't have a ton of progress to show, but I have a lot of yarn to show. This is pretty typical for me this time of year. It's pretty busy with work, and I'll get more into that in a bit. So I don't have a lot of things finished, but I tend to stress start lots of things and stress buy lots of yarn. So I'll show you what I got. In the past month, I've had 2 finished objects. So first up, they're both socks, and both are bingo board squares too. So we're 2 for 25, which isn't great yet, but that's better than none. So first up, we have the Mayflower socks. This is a pattern by Twin Stitches Designs. I'll hold up a little close. Oop, there we go. Hopefully it'll focus and not on me. This is the original Moonglow Yarn Co. set, the Mayflower sock set. I really love how these turned out. They're a little tight on my foot, but they fit and they go on my foot and they're super warm. And this, I really like this yarn. I haven't worked with Moonglow Yarn Co. before, and this is really hardy. I think these socks are gonna wear really well. So, FO number 1, complete. FO number 2 just happened. I should add, these socks I started January 4th and they were finished January 25th. So it took me 21 days, so 3 weeks to finish these socks. That's pretty slow for me, but again, it's a busy time of year. I normally average about 2 weeks for a pair of socks. Second FO, also a pair of socks. These are my Cinderella socks. So these is the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, and you can see they're literally just finished. I haven't even woven in the ends. This is Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo sock pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and I will link this down below. And this yarn is, let me see if I can get the yarn to show right. The color is really washing out, but it's a very pale blue, and there's a little bit of silver undertone in there. And then I paired it with a silver mini. This is Wool Market Fibers sock. I think this is their Stellina sock. It's a 75-25 base in the color Blue Platinum, and then it was just a silver mini. I don't think the mini had a name. So these, they haven't even been blocked yet. You can kind of tell. The lace will open up. So if you follow me on Instagram, I will post a picture when they get blocked. These are for the upcoming Broadway musical. Sorry, I'm just holding socks in front of my face. These are for the upcoming Broadway musical that my district does every year. So this is our 3rd year doing it, and I just started sock knitting when we did our first one, and so I decided to make a pair of socks for that musical. We did Beauty and the Beast the first year, Little Mermaid the second year, and Cozy Knitter had a Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid skein available at the time, so I got both of those and made a pair of socks. I did not see a Cinderella skein available. I did look. I know there was one at one point, but I think it's been discontinued. So this year we're doing Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella. So Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo was a perfect fit. So these will get blocked and saved for the musical, which will be in a couple weeks. I was really grateful. This was pulled for the month of February, this square. So we'll get more into that in just a second. But I was really grateful these were pulled because this was literally the month I needed them in, and they were already started. So it's one less thing to have to worry about. That's it for finished objects. I should get the dates on those. So today is February 12th that I'm recording. It's Monday, February 12th, 2024. I started these socks on January 6th, and I finished them on Friday, February 9th. So literally over a month to finish these. I've been going pretty slow with my knitting. It's just been hard to find time to knit, and it's because we're doing that Broadway musical. We're in the thick of getting the show ready. We're opening in a couple weeks, so it's showtime. We're busy doing that. And then when the show's over, my regular knitting schedule will resume again. So that's it for FOs. That's all I got. So whips, I have several more. For my Whip Go bingo board, we had, and I'll show the updated, I have not updated this to color the Cinderella socks in. So for the month of February, we had the Cinderella socks got pulled and the Stardew Valley Summer, and I don't know if you can see that. That should be better. So we had 3 and 24 got pulled. Is that backwards for y'all? I hope not. If it is, I will fix it. I'm really torn on starting the Stardew Valley socks. I think for two big reasons. One, it's just a busy time of year. I don't have time to dedicate to them and to thoroughly enjoy the process of making them. I know I want to make that chart, but my other hesitation is I kind of want to just make a swatch and take that gauge swatch and frame it and make like a little, you know, like a little knitting art piece and have my 4 seasons of Stardew Valley. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do the sock and then make the swatch, or if I'm just going to start with the swatch. We'll see. But that's where we're at right now. I'm kind of just, the 2 blocks that haven't been completed now that have been called are the Twist and Turn shawl and the Stardew Valley summer. I know that with this time of year, Twist and Turns just, it needs to go hibernate for a little bit. We're getting close to spring break and I'll be out of Broadway season by the time spring break hits. So I'm thinking that I'll have 2 weeks of spring break and I'll just knit through that shawl over spring break and that will be done. And then maybe if I finish the shawl in time over break and I have a couple days left, then I'll go tackle some of the Stardew Valley stuff. We'll see. But in the meantime, I have been knitting on other things. First whip up this, let me pull the dates that I started all these things. I went on a crazy, I call it castonitis, where we just can't help it but start things. And that is 100% what happened. So the next thing that I started on January 27th. This is the Ashburn shawl. This also is a yarn acquisition for the month of January. It is a 3-color, kind of like a fade. You knit with each color, but you kind of intersperse the next color in the section you're working on. So you work with color 1 and then add a little bit of color 2 and go back between 2 and 1. And then you work with color 2 and then you go 2 and 3 and then you work solid with color 3. And it's an asymmetrical shawl. We'll see. I don't have the color name. Oh, here it is. Never mind. I do have it. So the first color on this, I've just started adding in the second color. You probably can't, you can see it. That big bright pink is color 2. So this blue is called Blue Steel. I've gotten this much done, and this is my knit group knitting. This is all Wool Market fibers in the soft sock, fingering weight, 75% wool, 25% nylon. So this is color 1, Blue Steel. Color 2 is called Sweet Melody, and it's got that blue with this vibrant pink. And then color 3 is Fuchsia. Again, all soft sock. Oh, this is shimmer sock. I'm sorry, shimmer. So we've got a little bit of gold stellina in these. So I'm really pumped about this. They have these kits. Everybody was starting to do a knit along with these, and I was like, yeah, I'll jump in the knit along. Like I didn't have 50 other whips sitting. I mean, I don't have 50, but like we're getting there if I don't stop starting things. So we'll see. This has been my knit group knitting. I probably will just work on this at knit group, and then when I'm home, it'll kind of hibernate a bit and I'll work on some other stuff because it's fun to have the yarn from the store that I'm working on in the store and to do something that we're all doing together. And I knit pretty fast, so I know that if I work on it during knit group, it should get done in a reasonable amount of time. But that's not all. That's not all Hannah started. No. I got way more yarn and started all the things. So let me get all of this together. There's so much yarn up here. It's not even funny. That whole knitting more yarn than what I'm like knitting more than I buy is just not happened this year. So this second one is a gift knit. So if you happen to have a birthday in March and you know me outside of the internet, you need to turn away right now. I don't think this person is watching, but just on the off chance they are, please turn away. All right, I'm showing it. So you've had your chance. Turn away, turn away. All right. This is going to be a birthday present for someone who likes Taylor Swift a lot and happens to have a birthday in March. It's really hard to tell what it is. This is from Mustache Yarn. This is one of their must match sock sets. So what I decided, I saw that they had the Eras Tour yarn, and this person was very adamant that they did not want socks, and that's fine. If you don't want socks, I won't make you socks. But I feel like the whole Taylor Swift thing, this person's a very huge Taylor Swift fan. So I saw this and I had to. So I'm making a scarf, and it's a fingering weight scarf, but it doesn't get cold here too much, so I think it will be fine. So what it does, this is why I was like, I have to get this for this person. Oh, you can't really tell. That's super pale gray right there, and then there's the pink. So what it does, this yarn at each stripe is a different album. So I believe this one is Folklore and this one is Lover. I don't know. I am not a huge Taylor Swift fan, so don't quote me on all of these, but it goes through each album. So every color stripe represents a different album of hers. So what I'm doing is I've cast on here, and I'll connect this second band over this way. So when it hangs down, it's symmetrical on each side. And I've got this on a US, I think a 2. Yeah, I've got this on a US 2, and I cast on, I believe, 45 stitches. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 45. So I'll just knit, I'm just knitting a stockinette flat. I did try knitting this in the round. With the bigger needle and the larger amount of stitches, the stripes were really too skinny. And I really didn't want to make the scarf any narrower. So I figured if I just knit and stockinette, you'll get the stripe and you're not worried about trying to fold it over to make it in a round, because then that would be a very skinny scarf. So this will be a good size and it'll lay good. It'll be symmetrical on each side. So that's whip number 1 for right now. No, that's whip number 2, because the Ashburn shawl was whip number 1. So I'm just kind of freestyling this pattern. There's no pattern, but it is mustache yarn in the Eras tour. Or I think it's just called Eras. It is available online still. That was cast on February 9th, immediately after finishing the Cinderella socks, because the person's birthday is roughly a month away, so I've got to get on it. Okay. But yet, there's still another cast on. So I went to go to knit group on Saturday, and I was shown this picture of this person knitting a sock head slouch hat. I've been wanting a knit hat because I do not have any knit hats that I've like hand knit. I had one, it popped a hole, and I tried to repair it, and it just like completely imploded on itself. I made it slightly too small, so just whenever I put it on my head, something was gonna pop because it just wasn't properly fitted to me. Because I'm learning. We're still getting there. But I saw this hat and I was like, I have to do this. So this goes into the next set of yarn acquisition here. Get your sunglasses out. This colorway is called Flamingo. Wool Market Fibers again. Fingering. It's just so bright. But just like, oh, this in a hat. I had to. It had to happen. So this is going to be a sock head slouch, and it's, again, very hard to tell because of how neon this is, but there's all the ribbing. So this will be the brim of the hat right there. And then I think you can fold this. I really might get something and seam this up under. So I have a double layer brim and it lays right for me. I might do that. We'll see. And then it goes in a plain stockinette. Just knitting and knitting in the round. So I just today got to that point. And that's where your plain knitting is right there. It's kind of hard to tell the difference because it is so neon. This was cast on February 10th. Did I have any business casting this one? No, I did not. But did I? Yes, I did. And this will probably get done in the month of February. I'm thinking like when we're in between shows, when I'm sitting around for a while. Unfortunately, with Broadway, sometimes I do end up sitting for a bit. My role with it is I'm the stage manager, so I'm the lady with the headset. The top of the auditorium, calling all the shots when things happen. I'm not directing the kids directly. I'm not coaching them through how to do their parts, but I am working directly with the stage crew, lighting, sound, all of that stuff. So with that, when everybody's getting their hair and makeup done and getting their costumes done, if we're not actively performing, if we're just in a rehearsal, then we're just kind of sitting around. I'm waiting to see when people are ready to get going. I'm trying to make sure we're running on time, but I'm not necessarily working. So I feel like in those moments, this is a good project to pull, or those days where we have 2 shows and I have a couple hours to kill. This is going to be what gets pulled because this brings me a lot of joy. It's just so neon. I used to wear a lot of neon like this back when I was a teenager, and then I guess I kind of got away from it because I wanted to look like an adult. But it's kind of boring. This is fun, and it may not get used a ton. Like there's obviously some places that this would be a little much to pull out. But I'm still gonna make it and I love it. So that is gonna be a sock head slouch. I'll link the pattern below in Ravelry. I believe it's a free pattern. It's very straightforward and easy to follow, and the charting on it, it has like a chart that it shows you sizes, like how much you cast on for this size, what size head it fits, and then the links and everything. So you really could go through and customize it for what you want. It was really easy to pick up. So if you're looking for a good hat pattern, that's a really, really good one. And if you can knit and purl in the round, you got it. Get a favorite skein of sock yarn, call it a day. And it doesn't even take up a full skein of sock yarn. The one thing I didn't like about the muscle burrow hat was that it used up so much yarn, and it folds in on itself, so you have this big long tube. So you're basically knitting double what you need, so it folds up on itself. And if you lived in a super cold climate, that would be great because you would need that extra warmth and that double layer. But where I live, it's very rare that we need a double layer. And if we did, I would probably just actually layer hats because I don't need it that often. It's the same with socks. If I really needed super thick socks, I don't make a ton of DK weight socks because I just don't need it around here. Not that often. So, sock head slouch. So between the shawl, the sock head slouch, and the scarf, those are my three things that I'm working on consistently right now that my goals are to finish and to get done. Once I finish that scarf, then I will probably circle back to, actually I know what I'm going to circle back to. If we're not on spring break yet, if we're on spring break, I'm going to go straight to my shawl and work on my shawl. If we aren't on spring break yet, I'm going to start diving into this yarn that I've acquired. So we are going on to yarn acquisitions. This year I've decided to track how much yarn I'm purchasing and how much I'm using so I can see where I'm at. Is my yarn stash increasing or decreasing? How much is it increasing? Obviously it's increasing based on me talking about how much yarn I've bought and not finished. So I do have some stats for January. So for January, I am tracking how much I spend on yarn, but I'm not going to put that up here. For January, I bought 5 skeins of fingering weight yarn. So that means I had 500 grams of yarn in. I only completed 1 pair of socks in the month of January, which would be the Mayflower socks. So these were the only thing I finished in January, which those weighed 55.7 grams. So for a total in January, I have added 444.3 grams of yarn into my stash. So like 4.5 skeins of yarn. That's a lot. So we'll see. Hopefully, like when I finish the shawl, obviously you don't use up the entirety of a skein of yarn for a project. And when you weigh the project at the end, you really aren't going to see. Like even if I knit every single bit of a 100-gram skein, you're still going to snip those ends. You're going to do things. So it's not ever going to weigh 100 grams. So I'm going to give myself some leniency on that, but I feel like I need to get the numbers in the ballpark of being close to each other within, 50 to 100 grams. Definitely not 444 grams. So we'll see. However, that did not stop me from buying more yarn. So I have some yarn to show. In January, the only yarn I purchased in January was the yarn for the shawl, the yarn for the scarf, the Eras yarn, and then I also got my Yarnable. So if you've not seen January's Yarnable, you should have by now because we're into February. But if you have not and you don't want to see it, go ahead, turn away. I'll just show it. It's obviously kind of New Year's themed. It's really pretty. It's got these nice burgundy, I'm sorry, I won't talk about color, but turn away if you don't want to see, but it's very pretty. All right, you may look again if you didn't want to be spoiled. Forgot. I'm sorry if I mentioned color. So that was the Yarnable for January. So that was all that came in January. For February right now, this is what's come in so far. And once I've shown this here, I won't re-show it again in March, but it will be counted in the totals for February because I got it in February, not in January. So I also got February's Yarnable. It is amazing. Valentine's theme, but not what I was thinking we were gonna get. So if you don't want to see it, please turn away. All right, I am showing it now. Yes, it is already caked up because I want to use this. It is absolutely gorgeous. So you may look again if you did not want to be spoiled. It is gone. What I'm thinking of doing with that is making a pair of socks for myself and then taking the leftovers, and there are 3 little girls who I know would love a pair of hand knit socks, and one of them would get this one and then one of them will get the other 2 skeins of yarn. So in February I had the Yarnable, and I bought 3 skeins from Woolmarket Fibers last weekend. So the first of those skeins is this flamingo pink. I'm thinking when I finish this, there is definitely going to be some leftover. I think I might have enough to make myself a pair of gloves so that I can wear the hat and the gloves at work. That would be fun. They're definitely going to need sunglasses to be near me, but it'd be fun. And then I had 2 more skeins that I bought. So I'm thinking that with these other 2 skeins, again, I'll make a pair of socks for myself and then make a pair of socks for one of the little girls that I know. So that was the Yarnable I had, and then these are the last 2. This is called Pop Rocks, and this is their alpaca sock. So Woolmarket Fibers alpaca sock. It's 70% superwash fine Highland alpaca, 30% nylon. So it's a 70-30 blend. It is very fuzzy. I am very much so looking forward to using this. It's showing pretty true to color on camera. I've wanted to try their alpaca base. They've just started carrying alpaca and yak and BFL, which is blue-faced Leicester, which is a type of sheep, if you don't know. A lot of sock yarns are merino wool, so a BFL base. A lot of people like a blue-faced Leicester base or alpaca. Alpaca is supposed to be really warm, so we'll see. This is the other one. It's called Winter Wonderland, and I've had my eyes on both of these skeins for literally at least a month. So that's why I just went ahead and got it. I was getting the other skein anyway. So again, alpaca socks, 70% superwash fine Highland alpaca and 30% nylon. So we'll see. I'm very excited to see how these knit up. My feet get very, very cold in the winter, my feet and my hands. So that's why I always like to have hand knit socks pretty much all year round, because I will use them and they will keep my feet toasty warm. So I'm curious to see how this works. I did use a little bit of their alpaca in my Alpine Bloom sweater. I'll have to show, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see the Alpine Bloom. If you look at it, the cream color I have in there, that's alpaca. It itches me just a little bit. It's not enough that I can't wear the sweater, and I don't have to put anything on underneath it, but it itches me just a little bit if I've been wearing it like all day. So I'm curious to see if I wear these socks, how my feet are going to react to these socks. My feet are definitely less sensitive than like the skin right here, like when I'm wearing a shirt. So I feel like it's going to be fine, but we'll have to see. So as of right now in February, my yarn totals, I have gotten 400 grams of yarn in, and I've used 58.9, which puts me at positive 341 for the month. Now, if I finish my hat, if I finish this scarf, that should be another 200 grams out of stash, roughly. I mean, I think we could probably at least say 150 solid. That would get knocked out. So that would be almost half of the remaining balance for the month. So we'll see. Hopefully that this month, probably not this month, but March for sure, we have a nice long spring break this year. So I'm hoping that can get through all my yarn. I feel like I've talked a lot about my yarn usage today. It's that time of year. I don't complete a lot of projects basically the first 2 or 3 months of the year, and it's because this is the time that I'm very, very busy at work, and there's lots of deadlines, there's lots of performances. We tend to like to have all of our kids' musicals before we get into state testing time, just because once we start state testing, that's where the kids' focus needs to be. They need to do well in their tests. So that's what we work on. We do our musicals first, and then it kind of dies down for me while they all flip into testing mode. Anyway, if you stuck around this long, this is definitely shorter than the last one. I'm hoping to be back around the middle of March when we hit into our spring break time, and we'll see. Maybe I'll even get a double episode out in March, because I'm sure I'll get a lot of knitting done. But if you stuck around this long, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed watching it. If you want to see more, you can hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell to be notified when I upload. You can also follow me on Instagram, and you can definitely add me on Ravelry. Follow me on Ravelry if you'd like, but definitely if you want to be friends on Ravelry, that would be really cool. See all the stuff we make. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in March. Bye.